learned a lot in 2024 about design, collaboration, and even about myself. With the start of a new year, I wanted to do something different. Share 24 of the biggest lessons that I learned in 2024 or that I was reminded of. Let's go. Number 1, work smarter, not harder. Being someone who loves to check things off my to-do list, I often work overtime. But if there's one thing that 2024 has shown me is that it's not about putting more hours in, but actually focusing on impact and also setting up the system so I can be more efficient. Number 2, your creativity comes from beyond your desk. It's important to explore hobbies, read books, and seek inspiration outside of this world of product design. Number 3, your worth isn't tied to your output. But even more than that, it's not tied to the role that you have, the company you work at, or your income. So know yourself, know your values, your dreams and wishes, and take care of yourself first. Number 4, enjoy the process. There is always going to be the next feature for you to work on, a better way to enhance the user experience. Products are always evolving. So at the end of the day, make sure that you enjoy the ride. Number 5, set boundaries, because design work expands if you let it. I'll be making a video about this in more detail soon, but the message is clock in, clock out. Number 6, take breaks when you're stuck. I found myself over and over again trying to push through a problem, only to later figure it out that I was just wasting time. I have a full video on how to combat feeling stuck if you want to check it out here. Number 7, celebrate the small wins. As I mentioned, there is always going to be the next problem for you to solve. So take a moment to appreciate the small wins because they really fuel the big one and also they compound into those big ones. Number 8, be a sponge, but filter what sticks. Everyone has opinions. There are 1,000 ways for you to solve a certain issue. It's not because someone suggested something or another company is handling an issue this way that those are good ideas for your product in your scenario. Number 9, adaptability is your superpower. Things are always going to be changing. The tools, the processes, the teams you work in, and even the companies. Embracing adaptability is very important so that you feel confident that although you may not know the answer right away, you're sure that you're going to get through it. Number 10, let your peers know what you appreciate about them. Whether it's an engineer who solved a tricky bug or a PM that clarified things for you, let people know what you appreciate about them. Number 11, find opportunities to connect with people offline. Design events, Figma meetups, or creative workshops. Especially when you work 100% remote, it's really nice for you to find these places where you can meet other designers, other creatives, and you can recharge your battery, reframe your creativity, and also build a network. Number 12, don't be afraid to ask for tangible, actionable feedback when the one that you were giving was very vague. Don't be shy to ask follow-up questions so that you're made aware of the things that worked and also the things that you should keep an eye on to improve. Number 13, don't be afraid to ask for help or for clarity. If you're stuck or unsure, ask. In 99% of the cases, people are going to be very open to help you out. And also, that's going to allow you to deliver more assertive solutions and also faster. Number 14, meetings aren't the enemy. Bad ones are. I used to not be a big fan of meetings, but once you start clarifying the agenda and making sure that you always leave a meeting with action items, this really changes things for you. And it may not be quote unquote your job to take the lead, but if no one is doing so, just save yourself the time and do it for your own peace. Number 15, design reviews are not personal. They are about the work. I think the worst trait a designer can have is big ego. And of course, sometimes you put a lot of work and time into a project that you become, in a way, emotionally attached to it. But it's important that you always remind yourself that the feedback is not about you. And as long as the other person is giving it to help you enhance the experience for the users, that's what you should focus on. Number 16, your job isn't just designing. I've mentioned this before, that design plays a very important role because it's in a position where there's a lot of intersection with other areas of the company. So product management, engineering, research. As a designer, it's also your role for you to listen to everyone around you, understand their concerns, and in a way for you to build bridges through these design solutions. Number 17, don't expect people to know what's in your head. One of the biggest lessons I learned this year is the importance of sharing my thought process. Don't just present the final design, but explain the considerations, the alternatives you explored, and why you chose your approach. Number 18, master the principles first and then the tools. Figma, Sketch, Adobe XD. Tools are always changing, but design principles, they're forever. It doesn't matter if you're designing for mobile devices, for desktop experiences, or even if you change from one industry to another one that is completely different. Number 19, consider the edge cases. It's very important that you see the weird, unexpected paths that user may take or may want to take. Number 20, simplicity doesn't mean laziness. The best design is not the one that is the flashiest, but it's the one that works seamlessly, that it's very intuitive for the user. And sometimes that's going to be crazy simple. Number 21, a prototype speaks more than a detailed doc. When testing ideas or sharing the final design with the team, a prototype really shines. It's often quicker and it really provides how the experience is going to feel like. I have a detailed video on prototyping if you want to check it out. Number 22, the biggest critic of your work is often you. Get out of your own head and remember that people don't obsess over your flaws and mistakes like you do. Number 23, post about your work. Create a habit of sharing your work online. It doesn't matter how big or how small a project is. It can open so many doors that you couldn't even imagine. And I'm not saying for you to become a content creator, but find a space and a cadence in which you feel comfortable in sharing your work. It may be through X, it may be on Dribble, it may be on Facebook. Truly, find a place where you like hanging out and that you feel connected to the design community there and start posting to see where it's going to take you. And number 24, done is better than perfect. Remember that design is about always be iterating. Launch, learn, and improve as you go. The designer you're going to be 1 year from now is so much better than the one you are today, because the one that you are today is so much better than you were a year before. Well, and that's it. What was the biggest lesson you learned in 2024? I'd love to learn about that in the comments to see how this year has changed things for you. And hey, YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy this video here next. See you there, and happy designing in 2025.